Rhythm guitar playing. It is a super important aspect of any music that involves guitar, especially when it comes to rock and metal music. Yeah, playing lead guitar is cool and flashy and all, but without the solid foundation of the guitar, bass, and drums working together, the whole song just falls apart. With the advent of more technical guitar playing, I feel like newer guitarists are missing out on the energy that a solid rhythm guitar part can provide. So that is what I will be doing today. I will be going through what I think are the most important aspects of playing rhythm guitar. As a quick overview, this includes things such as strumming, palm muting, and your guitar tone. That last part in particular I feel like gets easily overlooked by the actual technical aspects of playing guitar. I will mainly be referencing the song Warm Floors, Cold Bodies by the sound of Modesty, as that song mainly features rhythm guitar playing that is played by yours truly. And then I also don't have to worry about copyright issues. The first thing I want to cover is how to strum. Punk rock guitarists and guitarists stemming from that genre, I feel like really know how to provide the energy through just the rhythm guitar by strumming alone. And for that, the first thing I want to do is show you how someone like Billy Joe Armstrong, the guitarist of Green Day, strums guitar. The first thing you'll notice is that the strumming arm is constantly moving up and down, playing constant eighth notes, even if the actual rhythm being played aren't constant eighth notes. By keeping the right arm moving constantly to the beat, it helps to keep your arm locked in and in time, acting kind of like a metronome. This is especially important at faster tempos, since your right arm won't be caught up trying to play weirdly to accommodate these weird rhythms of a strumming pattern. I bring up Green Day specifically because I feel like they're a well-known example of what I'm really trying to convey here, which is that punk rock energy of rhythm guitar playing. So let's take a quick look at this section of Warm Floors, Cold Bodies. I'll play the instrumental so we can really focus on the guitar playing. What you'll notice is that even though the rhythm I'm playing aren't straight eighth notes, so I'll just play this as an example. Now it's a 2. You notice that my picking arm is still my picking arm. You'll notice that my strumming arm is still moving up and down, constantly playing sort of eighth notes. So how is the rhythm actually played? This is done by missing downstrokes and upstrokes to create the driving rhythm. So the rhythm of that section is this, and I won't play the chords, I'll just strum it out so you can hear the notes precisely. I go about this very inefficiently by starting everything with a downstroke. Let me try to figure this out. Kind of like that. You kind of see my arm jumping around here and there. At slower speeds, this might be okay, but at the song's full speed of 195 beats per minute, this can be extremely awkward to play. So let's try that. So it's like, yeah, you see how awkward my arm is? It's not really natural at all. So the way I play it is by strumming it like this. It'll be down, 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 up, 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 down, right? It kind of sounds kind of weird when I say it with all the down and ups, but if you think about it just with your arm moving, it's a really natural sort of motion, because your arm, again, isn't breaking away from that constant up and down motion. Again, the reason we want to keep our strumming hand moving constantly is so that it keeps our playing locked in and in time. Your right hand is almost acting like a metronome, dictating the tempo of the song. So what you want to do is practice this really slowly and to a metronome. And although at first it may not be initially as intuitive as starting everything with a downstroke, over time you'll find that it actually becomes extremely natural to play, since your right arm doesn't have to do any funky things to try to accommodate that weird rhythm. So again, let's play this slowly. So really keep that arm moving up and down, and make sure you're missing the right strokes. Like that. So going back to the whole punk rock energy I was talking about earlier, in addition to playing in time, a lot of the energy just comes from how widely their arms are strumming, giving a full arm extension on the downstroke and bringing the arm to almost above 90 degrees at the elbow on the upstroke. So I should probably be standing up for this, but I'll just try to demonstrate that out. That's one thing I also want to cover, just as a quick side note, which is the slides. I don't do it in the recording of the song, but live I do it all the time. So whenever I'm up there, you caught that slide? That's sort of like, again, that's like a very punk rock Green Day thing. Kind of sounds like an engine revving or like a gunshot or something. I don't even know, but like they do it a lot in their songs. You'll catch it in pretty much all of their songs, like the big slides down the neck. When you burn down the house at home. And it really adds a lot to the energy of a song. So that's slides as well. The next thing I want to look at is how different strumming patterns affect the energy of the song. It's kind of hard to explain how to actually come up with strumming patterns since they're kind of just felt out on the spot. However, we can analyze the strumming patterns that I play, sort of looking back on them and see how it provides the different feel throughout the songs. So the main strumming pattern that I use throughout the song is the one that I explained earlier, which is again like this. Goes down, 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 up, down, up, down. In terms of actual rhythm, each downstroke corresponds to a downbeat, the actual pulse of the song. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. That's a downstroke. And each upstroke corresponds to an upbeat, which is a beat in between each pulse, which is like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Oh God, how am I gonna do this? 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. That took me a while to do it, but I got there in the end. As sort of like a strumming pattern to use to use throughout the song, that's just kind of just there in the background. You'll find that there's sort of like a good mix of the two, which is important for a pattern that's played throughout the song. In terms of effect, the downbeat helps in dictating the pulse of the song, which, as you can see, I did very effortlessly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And the upbeat helps in creating tension and movement. And you can see that by how difficult it was to try to perform both at the same time, speaking the downbeat and doing the upbeat in between. 1, 2. You find that a lot in stuff like reggae and ska, where the guitars are only playing upbeat accents. So having a good balance of both, that creates a rhythm that's very interesting to listen to, but also helps to drive the song forward. So again, it's a couple of downs in the beginning and then some ups in the after sort of second half, which both combined together creates a really interesting rhythm. Kind of like that. So if I want to build tension at the end of a section, you'll find that I would end up just playing straight eighth notes. And what this does is that it gives the feeling of the whole song speeding up and sort of like it's running towards something. You can see this in effect at the end of the song. All instruments are effectively doing the same thing, making the song feel like it's speeding up. Both the bass and guitars are locked in playing straight eighth notes, and the drums are playing blisteringly flat 16th notes on the kick drum. And that's strumming. Okay, now that I've covered how to strum, I want to go over palm muting. As a quick overview, palm muting is when you take the side of your palm and place it against the strings sort of close to the bridge, creating a very muffled, punctuated attack on the strings. So, like kind of like this. As opposed to, you put your palm on the strings, close to the bridge, right there, I kind of like to put it in between the bridge and the bridge pickup to give like a really sharp attack. And strumming through all 2 or 3 strings. Anyways, but more specifically to today, I want to look at how to downpick fast. Downpicking is when you're palm muting and you're playing straight 8th notes, but they're all as downstrokes, like this. Like that. This is typically done at pretty fast tempos at like 180 beats per minute and faster. So why would we want to downpick? So downpicking is very useful at creating sort of a driving and consistent sound to help propel the energy of a song. But most importantly, it's that consistent factor that we're after. I think it's very important to know how to downpick correctly because it's sort of like a very intense motion, and if you do it incorrectly, you could end up hurting yourself. So how do we downpick? The first thing I want to go over is anchoring your picking hand. By anchoring your hand, in addition to making sure your hand stays put while you pick, you can also provide a solid foundation for the force from your picking hand to be transferred directly into the strings. So the way I anchor my hand is I extend my pinky finger and I sort of wrap it around the bridge pickup, but I guess, well, there's a pickup ring, so I kind of wrap around there, or depending on the guitar or what I'm doing, I'll either wrap it around the pickup ring, or I'll wrap it around the B and E string, but not too hard. So I'm not wrapping it extremely hard. It's more just to like providing a contact point so I know where my hand is at all times. So it'll be like that. You see my pinky doesn't move at all. It stays put exactly where it is. When it actually comes to downpicking, the main thing to focus on is where the energy of the picking motion is coming from. I've seen some guitarists try to provide the force from their wrists, sort of like twisting it like that there. I can try to do that, but I don't, kind of like that. For me, I find it a lot easier to provide the motion from your forearm. It's sort of like a twisting motion, because when you're trying to do it with your wrists, the muscles in your wrist really aren't that strong to sort of keep up with the fast tempos that downpicking is usually played at. So instead, I would use my forearm as sort of like a twisting motion to carry that energy into the wrist, and using my wrist and my forearm together to carry that energy into the strings. So I'm sort of throwing my picking hand into the strings from my forearm, like this. As opposed to just anchoring my forearm and just using my wrist. So the energy comes from the forearm, twisting motion, and it transfers into the wrist. And like I'm using my wrist and my forearm in conjunction together again. My wrist isn't completely still. If you can notice, it'll be like, oh, that's wrong. You can see my forearm kind of twisting there, just a bit. And then, so as an example, in the song, in the verses, I'm just playing straight 8th notes as downpick. I think that was a bit faster than the actual tempo. But anyways, so again, forearm, wrist, and is a twisting motion like that. One more thing to note is that I'm using, nope, shut up. One more thing to note is that I'm using a relatively thick pick. I don't know if you can see it well. Yes, there's my guitar pick. And because of the thickness of the pick, I find that I don't have to grip the pick as hard to get the sharp attack that I want from each downpick. Your mileage may vary depending on the size of thickness that you play, but if you find yourself gripping your pick way too tight, and typically if I find myself gripping my pick way too tight, I start developing pains around here, sort of like there, between the thumb and the index finger. It starts hurting here. If you find yourself gripping your pick way too hard, try playing with a smaller and thinner pick. That way the pick flexes less and you don't have to try and grip your pick as hard to get that energy into the strings. Like if I just do it without turning the volume off, you can hear the sharp attack that's coming just from the strings. If you guys are curious, I'm playing the John Petrucci signature guitar pick by Dunlop, and it's also pretty cool because it has like the 3 sides, so you don't ever have to guess or try to fumble for whatever side you're playing on, because it's on all three sides. So anyways, so just to wrap it all up, if you find yourself hurting from like gripping the pick way too hard, try a smaller and thicker pick. So like I mentioned earlier, the key thing to downpicking is consistency. So practice this slowly to a metronome, focusing on anchoring your hand and carrying that movement from your forearm to your wrist to your strings. And once you feel you're more comfortable with the whole motion, try downpicking full power chords. And that's one thing I feel that's really useful about the forearm motion, is that it provides enough energy for you to carry your whole pick through not just one string, but at 3 strings even. So if you look, those 3 strings. So once you're more comfortable at playing just one string and to a metronome and consistently, try to extend that force across all 3 strings into playing a power chord, and ensuring that you get a nice attack from each downpick. Anyways, that's downpicking. The last thing I wanted to cover today about rhythm guitar playing is your guitar tone. As much as people want to believe that, oh, your tone comes from your hands and whatever bullshit, your amp tone is just as important a factor as your technique of playing guitar. As a rule of thumb, I personally try to aim for as little gain on the amplifier that I can get away with. Some guitars take an opposite approach and go for as much gain as they can get away with, but personally I'm primarily more focused on the rock guitar playing rather than metal guitar playing, which sort of focuses on the more gain and stuff. But I find that the lower gain really helps with getting strong note definition. For example, in the song Warm Floors, Cold Bodies, even though I'm just playing standard major chords with some suspensions thrown in here and there, the lower gain really helps in getting the chords to stand out. As for actually dialing a tone, I have my Marshall DSL-15H, and in front of that I'm running an Ibanez Tube Screamer Mini. And I'll start with the gain level on both set to 0. Then while strumming hard, so let's just pick this chord just because you see there's no gain at all, I will start getting the gain up a bit and periodically turning the boost on and off until I can't hear difference between boost and no boost. So right now it needs a bit more gain. So as you can see here, I'll just strum really hard with and without the boost. So this is without the boost. And this is with the boost. Not much of a difference, right? So that's where I know that I have enough gain. So you'll find that it really isn't that much gain at all. Like, it's at like 2 or 3 on the amp. So you find that strumming chords, it sounds pretty much alright. But when it comes to palm muting, you find that it's pretty much not enough gain at all. It sounds kind of muffled and flubby, right? So this is where the boost comes in. And I'll turn on the boost, and you find that, and I have the boost levels and tone is set to max, but the gain is still set to 0 right now. So now that I have a boost on, you'll find that the attack of each note is a lot more sharp in the palm mute. So that's with the boost, and I turn off the boost. So kind of muffled and not really nice sounding. So if I find it's not enough attack, I'll turn the gain knob on the boost up just a bit until I get the amount of attack that I like. So I personally find that to be pretty nice. So again, it's not a lot of gain here. We got the boost is set to 9 o'clock. The gain set to around 9, 10 o'clock. Again, if I take the boost out, strumming sounds fine. It's just like my guitar's on too. difference between with the boost on and off, but the boost really helps with getting the attack of the palm mutes, and that's what I really use it for. And that's generally how I get a nice rhythm tone for rhythm guitar playing. So again, just a quick overview. As little gain as I can get away with, so I'll be turning up the boost, the gain, so I'll be turning up the gain on the amp until I feel like there's just enough, and I'll test that by turning the boost periodically on and off with the gain all the way down on the boost until I can't really hear much of a difference between with the boost on and boost off. And then once that's enough gain, I turn the boost on and I turn the gain up until I feel like I'm getting enough attack out of the palm mute. But that's that. And that's how you get a nice guitar tone. Well, for me at least. And that's it. Those are what I feel like are some of the essential components to actual playing rhythm guitar in a rock and metal context. We covered how to strum, how to palm mute and downpick, and how to get a suitable rhythm guitar tone. I'm sure there's a lot more I could have covered, like different ornamentations, like slides and pick scrapes or whatever. But this is a YouTube video, and there's only so much time I can have your attention for before you guys start thinking about what lunch you want to have. The key thing to take away from this is to practice all of this to a metronome. Okay, well, I don't know how you can practice getting a tone to a metronome, but make sure you practice strumming and palm muting to a metronome so that you get your rhythm and timing as tight as possible. Remember, it's called rhythm guitar, so your ability to be locked in time is crucial. So that's about it for the lesson today. Maybe I'll do more lessons in the future if I feel like I wanna. But yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. See you guys.